Tonight we want to really dig into this. My guests, tax attorney Ronnie Deutsch, author, columnist, and blogger David Sirota, and radio host Ben Ferguson with Icon Radio Network and the host of his show there. And Howard, are you going to stay with us? Is Howard still with us, or did he hang up? Well, let's get Howard back if we can. If we can get Howard back, we will. Okay, so here's the thing. Honestly, guys, no agenda here, okay? We just want to get to the truth. And we want, if people are protesting, they have the right to protest by any means. Trust me, I believe in that. Everyone wants lower taxes. So if people are protesting, then they should be aware of what they're protesting for. Whether, do you agree? Do you agree with that, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about taxes. This was supposed to be about high taxes. Am I right, Ben?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think it was more than that. I think it was about taxes in general. And I think the majority of the people that were there knew exactly why they were there. They were there, and I took heat for not endorsing this enough. I had people saying, you're not promoting this enough. You're not telling people enough where it is. You're not getting behind this. And this was coming from conservatives. So I think it's pretty fair to say that this was not just orchestrated by, I think you're giving too much credit to Fox News Channel, to be honest with you. Okay. I think there's a lot of people that really wanted to go out there that have had enough. They just saw a massive budget come through.
Ben, I don't disagree with you. I think that there were people from, all walks of life who are out there and who are upset. And hey, you know what? If they're upset, like I said, you have the right to protest, but you should know what you're protesting. You saw that.
And they did.
But here's the thing. If you, by all accounts, if you look at everything that we have written, it says the U.S. falls within the lowest tax bracket of about only four other nations, four other large nations. We're at the bottom, and it's getting lower as the years progress. And under President Obama's new plan, the middle class will make out better than they did in the years before. So then,
well, again, that's a nice campaign statement from the Obama campaign. But
I'm not getting this. Hey, listen, hang on. I'm not getting this from the Obama campaign. This is all the research that we have done, and it says if you look at any of the tax research, we're at the bottom.
But I've got one piece of research. Where are the Bush tax cuts going to go? They're about to expire. Where are the things like the money that you'll inherit when your family passes away? They're about to expire. That does not help people in the middle class, and that is the untold story of this.
Okay, hang on, Ben. Yeah, I don't want to beat up on Ben because I'm not. Ben and I talk, and we're just having a discussion here, and I'm going to do the same thing with let's let David Sirota in. David, go ahead.
The point is that it's very strange to have an anti-tax protest when the President of the United States is proposing one of the biggest middle-class tax cuts in American history. It's also strange to protest after George Bush ran up some of the biggest deficits that this country has ever seen. During the Bush administration, polls showed that most people felt that their taxes went up because federal fees and middle-class taxes in many ways did go up. Who got the tax cuts of the Bush administration was primarily the very, very wealthy. So I understand the anger out there at the bailouts. I think that's a big issue for both sides. David, but anger at taxes is a little bit strange.
David, you bring up a very good point, because if you look at, and a lot of the folks out there said that they were upset because of the, all of the bailouts and because of the stimulus and whatever.
And that's legitimate.
And that you can, if you're upset with that, you can protest against the Obama administration. But taxes, I'm not so sure on that. So let's bring in Ronnie Deutsch. Ronnie, where do we stand on taxes? What is the truth about taxes that our Americans have been paying the last couple of years, rising, falling, and compared to other countries?
Here's the issue. Taxpayers are intoxicated. We are paying federal tax, state tax, gas tax, property tax, sales tax. We'll be taxed when we breathe. So when you and I step back and think about that taxpayer who's out there protesting, they want tax reform. They're not saying to President Obama, hey, we don't think you're going to lower taxes for us. I think what they're saying is, I'm sick and tired of getting taxed to death when we're printing money and rewarding failure and mediocrity.
Absolutely.
Do you realize that 60% of the American people, small business owners like myself, we bear the burden. We are the people employing Americans. I want to see some great tax programs for small business owners. Don, what about the 30 to 40 million people who cannot even afford to pay the IRS? These are much larger issues than red flags.
Hang on. Ronnie, I heard that you were enthusiastic about taxes when we reached out to you, and you are. Thank you. I appreciate your energy and enthusiasm. But hang on, I want to know, hold on, Ben. Everybody's going to get a chance here. But what I want to know, do we have that graphic, Jen, that we had, that we made up? when you look at this is what taxes are spent on in the United States. Healthcare, 23%, Social Security, 21%, national defense, 19%, income security, 14%, interest on debt, 8%, and then when it goes down to veterans and what have you, it gets lower. It's like 3%. There you go, 3%, and then 5% for others. Now, as you look at the data, of course, everyone wants lower taxes. We get that. But if you look at the data, the taxes haven't gone up, though, Ronnie. So explain that to me, if you will. I want to know myself.
Here's the issue, Don. I think everyone agrees that we have to pay taxes, right? We need fire, we need police. But what are we getting for that money is the issue.
And that's, we showed what we're getting for that money, right? Do you realize how bad things are here in California?
Our criminal justice system is awful. Our roads are awful. Our schools are awful. What I'm saying to you is we're all about paying our fair share.
Right.
But we want some. And right now what taxpayers are seeing and why they're out there protesting, Don, it's simple. Why are we giving all this money to big business people? That's the perception,
Ronnie,
and perception is reality.
I understand that. I understand that. And we're going to talk about this more.